Testing 1 2 3 testing. Testing 1 2 3 testing. everybody, SonGoshuaku here to rank all 4 matches from WWE Royal Rumble 2026. Right before Monday Night Raw comes on in a little over an hour, but let's get through this. Alright, so we kick things off with number 4, Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn for the WWE Championship. Alright, so essentially when it comes to this match, I didn't think it was the best of the matches we've seen from Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. I just don't think it was like this really good back and forth classic, back and forth and everything, near falls and all that stuff. Really like just making you wonder, is Sami gonna win? Oh no, he didn't here. Oh, Drew came back there. Oh no, it felt a little bit honestly more one-sided. It was more like Drew McIntyre, as I was saying in my review, dominating Sami Zayn. And yeah, they did have some hope spots for Sami Zayn nearly coming back, and the audience was getting riled up and hoping, but overall, man, it felt like more of a dominating showcase for Drew McIntyre. And yeah, I just don't think out of all the matches that took place on this I put it in our number 4, like I said, it wasn't a bad match, so I'm not saying it's the worst. It's often reason why. I mean, I think a lot of these matches are either really good to great, so that's often why I use the word least versus worse and everything, because I can't say this is a horrible match. It wasn't, but yeah, it's just one of those things where I was thinking like, okay, if Sami's gonna win this title, then now would be the chance. This is the moment. This is where you can finally have Sami go ahead and get that big victory. Of course, like I said, he's Muslim, and therefore he's huge. You see, he gets a huge reaction in Saudi Arabia, and they would have went wild, but they didn't do it. Just like in 2023 in Montreal, and Sami didn't win there either against Roman Reigns. But I thought that match was a lot more effective in terms of creating this back and forth action where it looked like Sami really had a realistic chance of winning. Here, not so much. And you even had Drew McIntyre in the end go ahead and, as I mentioned, put that explanation point saying, Sami, you are not good enough. And he beat him 1, 2, 3, proving in the storyline Drew McIntyre's point. Yeah, I think we'll probably see more matches. Eventually he'll get that big win over Drew McIntyre. Eventually, like I'm thinking maybe WrestleMania being in Saudi Arabia, you'll probably get the big win there. If they don't do it there at WrestleMania 43, then I just don't know if WWE ever really have any plans or intentions of making Sami Zayn finally get that world title reign. But as it comes to this card, yeah, out of the 4 matches, I just did not think Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn stood out enough compared to our next 3 matches. Like I said, I don't even think I'm going to remember this that much, but it was cool to see Drew McIntyre finally get a run as champion. He gets he retains the championship, and I certainly do think it's one of those weird spots with this match where if Drew McIntyre lost, man, it's way too soon for him to be losing that world championship, especially with this being his first world title run in front of an actual audience. But then if Sami Zayn wins, it's like, woohoo, Sami finally gets his moment. But then it's like, man, at the expense of Drew, and that's one of those things. It kind of felt like WWE almost booked themselves into a corner here where, man, if you have Sami win, dang, why cut Drew's title reign so short? But if Drew wins, which he did, then man, are you gonna give Sami his run? And that's the thing. A match like this is better done where Drew has had like a dominant reign or a pretty decent, at least lengthy reign, and then it gets to the point where it's like, okay, Drew's had the title enough, let's go ahead and put it on Sami and everything. So we'll see where it's go. But yeah, unfortunate if you're a Sami Zayn fan, fortunate if you're a Drew McIntyre fan. So if you're a hybrid fan like me, it's like, yeah, either situation works for me, because I mean, I'm certainly not going to complain about Drew McIntyre retaining the WWE Championship when, hey, as a Drew McIntyre fan, this is what I've been wanting for the longest. I've been a Drew McIntyre fan since he came out and was called the Chosen One, and all that stuff back in 2009, I think it was. So yeah, certainly I can't complain at all with that. Hopefully we see Sami get his moment next year, or maybe sometime later this this year if they decide to do something different. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, that spot right there in the graphic that I used where he powered bombed Sami, that was pretty much was the beginning of the end. Sami didn't really have much of a comeback after that moment, and Drew wins, looks dominant, and he gets a world championship run here. Now the real question is Drew gonna continue to hold this until WrestleMania, or is he gonna be dropping it at Elimination Chamber to Cody Rhodes? Because, you know, he of course keeps poking the bear with that one. Ola Soy Snyder, if I said your name right, says hello. Hello, thank you for joining the chat. I appreciate it for this live stream where we're ranking the Royal Rumble matches. All right, number 3, the Men's Royal Rumble match. Alrighty, so coming in number 3, I was hinting at this last night in my review, and so pretty much as you could tell, yes, you can see which one I thought was better between the 2 Royal Rumble matches. More about that coming up. But in terms of this match, there were definitely some bigger moments that I felt made it stand out from the 4th entry on this list. The Men's Royal Rumbles, I would say it's crazy because even though I'm ranking it at number 3 on this list, I thought no other match on this card got more ooh and ah, and like, oh, more hyped up moments, because man, when you start off with Oba Femi and then number 2 is Braun Breaker, I'm like, let's go. And of course, going in is the black hooded figure that's masked up, goes ahead and completely takes out Braun Breaker, which is going to be a storyline, and I'm pretty sure will play out. It's going to be interesting to see Monday Night Raw as that starts in a little over an hour from now. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out from the time that I'm doing this live. But overall, though, Oba freaking Femi looked like an absolute beast in this Rumble, and that I'm glad they did. As I was mentioning in my review, Oba Femi looked dominant, and that was really awesome to see. And then until Brock Lesnar came out, and this is where, like I said, I wish we would have gotten more. I wish we would have gotten more with Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi than what we did, because it just felt like kind of Brock was teasing him and, you know, doing a that over to Oba Femi and getting him the German suplex. But Oba did come back with that one clothesline, and I would have loved if Oba Femi would have been the one to eliminate Brock. Instead, they didn't do that, and Brock Lesnar ends up getting eliminated by Cody Rhodes and LA Knight. Thus, Cody and LA Knight get the rub. Cody gets yet another rub, having already beaten Brock Lesnar, I think 2-1 in that trilogy in 2023, which I was there for at SummerSlam 2023. And LA Knight, hey, that's cool. He gets to play a big part in eliminating Brock Lesnar, but it's like, man, a dominant clothesline over the top rope would have been much more fitting had Oba Femi did that. And this is a big part. And no, I'm not putting this at number 3 because, as you see in the bottom graphic there that I use, it's not because of the winner. More about that later. I'm putting it at number 3 because I felt this Men's Royal Rumble had lost some really big potential. It left a lot of big physical interactions on the table, with today's rising stars going up against some of the more dominant stars we've had over the last 15-20 years. As I mentioned in my review, man, we got Brock and Oba getting physical a little bit. We got Jacob and Roman Reigns getting physical a little bit. But outside of that, man, like, we missed out on Jacob going head-to-head with Brock Lesnar. We missed out on Oba Femi going head-to-head with Roman Reigns. We missed out on Jacob and Oba Femi going at it. Just some stuff that I thought that, man, they really missed that and left those interactions on the table. And that is something that I felt could have really enhanced this Royal Rumble. And had we got some of those big moments, even with Braun Breaker getting in there with Oba Femi or Jacob Fatu and stuff like that, we got some more of that. If they would have done some more stuff like that, I may have gone ahead and put this higher on the list. But because they didn't go with that, I don't think everything else really stood out that much in this match. Like I said, I don't think this was a bad Royal Rumble match. I thought it was a solid, decent Rumble match. but it definitely left some stuff on the table there. That being said, the closing part of the match, of course, we get Roman Reigns, and they played up Gunther. I thought really played up well, and thinking like, oh man, Gunther's on a run now. Is this gonna happen? Is this gonna do it and everything? And man, you wonder what's gonna happen there. And from there, what ends up happening is you get Roman Reigns winning. He takes out Gunther, and man, as I was saying, whoo, I was jumping up for joy. It's like, yes, let's go, the tribal chief, throwing my ones up in the air. Yeah, I know Roman Reigns has been controversial with this win. You know, some people feeling that he doesn't need it, others feeling that he does need it, and it's like, man, you know, what in the world happened here? And stuff like that. Yo, what's up? We got Papa Gino in the chat. Oh man, thank you for coming out supporting. I really appreciate it, man. Definitely be getting some questions here in the chat soon. But just to finish up what I thought about this match here, overall in terms of Roman Reigns winning, like I said, I stand by it. I've had a couple of days to think about it, and I still stand by it. For me, it's just a great story. A great story of Roman Reigns. When you look at where he was the first 5 years of his main event push, which I felt was so unorganically, it felt unnatural. You're not letting this guy be who he wants to, who we feel like he could be. Like, that should have been the moment where Roman should have, I felt, been given the freedom to really find himself as a performer, because that's what it looked like he was doing in 2014. But they do the Southern Succotash, the Blue Eyes, they're trying to make him like John Cena 2.0. I'm like, oh, okay, man, this just does not feel right. It feels unorganic. And at the time, like I said, I was a Roman Reigns fan since his days in the Shield, and that's where I wanted to see, like, okay, this Roman Reigns has got something. Let's see where it goes. But the way they were doing it for the first 5 years of his main event push, yeah, it wasn't cutting it, and it was so unnatural the way he won that 2015 Rumble in terms of how they were booking, on where all the people were still going on the high of Daniel Bryan's main event push and the fact that he was back, and then you throw The Rock in there to try and get that unorganic, you know, it just felt so unorganic. We're throwing The Rock here to endorse Roman Reigns because maybe the fans who've been booing Roman, booed, you know, they're booing Roman. Oh, The Rock endorses him? Well, let's cheer. Woo, yeah, we're all Roman Reigns now. Like, yeah, that wasn't gonna work, and even The Rock wasn't gonna make that work. Never forget, The Rock was like, what the heck? Like, man. Oh man, so you got that. Now you come to 2026 here, and it's a totally different ball game. Roman has played this tribal chief character for about a little over 5 years now, almost 5 years now, 5-6 years, whatever it is, and it just feels so much more organic. The fans have gotten behind him ever since, you know, they were getting behind him even as a heel, and then I think 2024 SummerSlam just cemented it, and that's where Roman Reigns, right there, Roman Reigns was looking a lot more dominant and stuff, and truly gained that respect from the WWE audience. He had won them over now, and he did it being a character where he could be more of himself, and it just feels more authentic. And you didn't even need The Rock this time. You didn't need The Rock. You just needed Roman Reigns by himself. So like I said, I think it was a great Royal Rumble redemption story to see Roman Reigns throwing his one in the air, this time getting his second Rumble win, but this time you got the fans going wild in the background. Like, yeah, it was a great redemption story. And I've mentioned before, as I did in my review, I think the reason why I wasn't too big of a fan of like people winning the Royal Rumble a second time was not so much the fact that it's a bad thing to do, more so that I just feel like it depends on the timing. When Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold won their Rumble matches, their second Rumble matches, they were being definitely submitted as main event guys, because their previous year Royal Rumble matches, they were off, and stuff like they were on their way up, but when you get to that second year, it's like, okay, yeah, these are gonna be the two guys to carry the New Generation era and the Attitude Era respectively. And then when it came to some of our repeat winners in the 2010s, it's like, yeah, they already had a really established nice Royal Rumble victory, and by that point you've got 2 world championships, you've got a lot more talent on the roster now, compared to what you had. And not that the talent was bad at all during the New Generation or Attitude Era, but I'm just saying you've got more quantity of people now and everything to choose from and stuff like that. And that's the case here, and I can understand why people are against Roman Reigns winning this one because he is far established and everything, and he's kind of like part-time and everything. But I think if anyone in the Royal Rumble's history has certainly earned a second win to cleanse out their first Rumble win, it was definitely Roman Reigns. So I'm happy for it, and I'm looking forward to most likely him and CM Punk at WrestleMania for the world title. But make no mistake about it, just because I am glad and okay with Roman Reigns winning, let it be known that WWE still very much needs to make sure they're using this year of 2026 to build up their next big stars, which they've got no shortage of between Jacob Fatu, Dominic Mysterio, Oba Femi, between Braun Breaker, a lot to choose from. So in 2027, this should not be an issue. They have more than enough superstars to build up. But yeah, outside of some of the big stuff with like Oba Femi and everything dominating and the ending with Roman and Gunther, I don't feel like this Royal Rumble match really stood out, and thus I had to make it to my number 3 spot. All right, let's look at what we got on the chat here. Going on in the chat, we've got okay, so Sonata, if I say my name is yeah, okay, so I got it right. All right, cool. Yeah, thanks for joining the chat. Papa Gino, of course, showing up. I'll be seeing you all No DQ tomorrow. I'll be live on the No DQ review, so always good. Yeah, and check out Papa Gino and everything, man. Really good guy and everything, knows his wrestling stuff, so yeah, definitely check him out as well. As he says, super sup Sun G, loves showing you support, appreciate it. Everyone like this video and don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate that. Who attacked Braun? So Papa Gino, I think that the idea behind it is probably their way of keeping things open if Seth Rollins can come in. So like, let's say if Seth Rollins is close to recovery and they think he can be recovered in time for WrestleMania, I think they're going to reveal the mass attacker as Seth Rollins. But if not, they're saying on my review last night. So I think I think that was just one big plot device to set up a potential Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker match if they can at WrestleMania this year. He also says Oba is a star, so is Lash. I love me some monster-sized wrestlers. Yeah, man, I agree with you, definitely. Well, I'll be getting the Lash very shortly here. But yeah, Oba looked like a star, absolutely. Like I said, WWE has no shortage of main attackers, I feel. Let's see. Oh, Tin Sensati. Hey, thank you for joining the chat. Puts LA Knight with a sad face. I feel you on that. I would have absolutely loved it LA Knight won. But as I was saying in my review, and I was telling a lot of my friends in our group chats while we were watching the Rumble, there was nothing in WWE's booking over the last 3 years with LA Knight that suggested to me anything other than him not winning this Rumble. The good thing is with LA Knight is at least, you know, they put him in big featured matches, you know, they give him in big feature matches. They had him eliminate pretty much most of the division and stuff like that. So he did look good in this Rumble. He didn't look bad at all, so that's a good thing. But it's one of those things where, okay, it feels like with LA Knight's booking, WWE doesn't want to put him down here, but they don't want to necessarily put them all the way up there either. They kind of want to keep them in that middle to the cusp of main event star. So we'll see, but I would like to see LA Knight get his big moment and get a run with the world title. Absolutely. Bub Slayer. Oh, Bub Slayery 3824. I'll probably butcher that. Thanks for joining. Chat says hello. Tin Sensati says I wanted anyone but Cody and Roman to win, to be honest. Yeah, Cody didn't need a third win to match Stone Cold Steve Austin, my all-time favorite. And Roman, like I said, yeah, he didn't need a second win, but I understand why they went there and everything and stuff. And I think we're gonna get a good main event out of it. One that does not build up the future of the company, but one that at least should hopefully give WWE more time to build up the future, as they will have a whole year to make sure that they don't have to rely on someone like Roman winning the Rumble next year in 2027. All right, so let's keep moving things on because I definitely want to finish this live stream before Monday Night Raw comes on. All right. Number 2, the Women's Royal Rumble match. All right, so number 2, obviously, yeah, I think hands down for me, the better of the two Royal Rumble matches. The women went out there from top to bottom and did their thing. Man, wow. Yeah, so even though I got more bigger pops out of the men's Royal Rumble match because of the sheer star power, the women's division in terms of how WWE has been placing the superstars for the women is quite different. Like, they haven't done much to build up their middle card, which is why we haven't seen, what's her name, Jade Cargill. We haven't seen much of Jade Cargill with the world title, and everything, defending it and stuff like that. And then they've taken a lot of their more established main event female talent and thrown them into the women's tag team division. You know, Triple H and his creative team, they've done them and put them in the women's tag team division. So that doesn't leave a lot to work with in terms of superstars that have been built up for the main event scene. So that's probably one of the reasons why I was more hyped going into the men's Royal Rumble. But as often they do, and as they proved at Evolution 2025, even if WWE doesn't put as much into their full creative booking effort as they could with the women go out there and do their thing. And from top to bottom, the action in this women's Royal Rumble was good. It was a solid women's Royal Rumble match, and we got a lot of good creative stuff. As Gino was mentioning in the chat, Lash Legend looked like an absolute beast, and I dare say that she looked like an absolute beast. She did get eliminated by Rhea, who's obviously established, but I felt that Lash did enough in this tournament, in this Royal Rumble match, that when Rhea eliminated her, it's like, okay, she had a good showing because she dominated. I think, did she eliminate Charlotte and Becky? I don't remember. I have my notes with me, but she eliminated some big featured players like Io. Like the way when she was hanging on and she just stomped right on Io's face and Io fell right on the back of her head, it looked like, and stuff. Like, oh man, that was brutal. Shout out to Tin Sensati in the chat who said, dude, Soul is amazing. I love the women's Rumble and they all look spectacular in their outfits. Yes, the outfits were creative on point. A lot of people had this idea that the women were going to come all out in like these skin tight black suits and everybody was just going to look unrecognizable, but no, everybody went all out on their gear and stuff, and it looked fantastic, I thought, for sure. One Real Babyface as well says Stone Cold is one of his favorites too. Awesome. Yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin. The reason why I'm doing stuff like this, I'm still a wrestling fan for life because of him. But yeah, getting back to the women's Royal Rumble, this match I thought definitely stood out from the men's Royal Rumble, and the pop Brie Bella got, awesome moment, and then seeing her and Nikki reunite the Bella Twins was a great feel-good moment, I felt, for the Bella Twins. Love to see them go on and win those women's tag team titles. I thought Io looked great, Rio looked great. I love the story that they were telling with Charlotte and what was it? With Charlotte and Charlotte and Alexa in the beginning, like the whole thing, like, do we work together? No. Or yeah, do we work together? Do we not work together? Work together until it comes down to you guys in the to you ladies into the finals. But what I did like is at the ending where I think Nia Jax got eliminated and Charlotte, like, she accidentally eliminated Alexa Bliss in the process, like, and Alexa's like, what did you do? And Charlotte's like, I didn't mean it, and stuff. Great stuff. And doing details like that with one partnership and then showing later on where it's deliberate with the other partnership. Like, I loved how the Judgment Day worked as a cohesive unit in this tournament. I mean, I don't know, I'm thinking tournaments. King and Queen of the Ring tournament ain't there quite yet. We're still early in the year, but the way they work together as a cohesive unit, and then you had right when Rhea Ripley got eliminated with that Tahana bomb onto the edge of the apron, and Liv Morgan ends up eliminating not Rhea Ripley, Raquel Rodriguez. Too many R's to remember here. I was like, man, that was like, wow, okay. That was deliberate. So I love the contrast difference there and stuff. Like, they're trying to make it wonder, like, okay, is Charlotte against Alexa or is she for Alexa? But then you see Liv Morgan, oh, she backstabbed her partner and everything. Yo, my boy, the Mantra01, what up, bro? Up in the chat. Thanks for joining. Yeah, this was good stuff. And yeah, so Ruka looked great in there. A lot of great moments. Natty, I was so glad to see Natty get a big push in here. Like they had her make short work of Becky Lynch in this Rumble. I was like, oh man, that's good. And everyone that Natty came up against in the Rumble, she was not treated as some pushover. So I really dug that. That was really good. Would have loved to see Maxine get more of a big strong showing with how much they've pushed her over the late last year, early this year. But yeah, and Liv always looked great, and that's one thing I loved about the consistency is Liv Morgan has been very much consistent in the Royal Rumble over the years. So you told this great story where she keeps coming close, and then this year she finally get it when she got Tiffany Stratton out with the Oblivion and finally win. And I think Liv Morgan was an excellent choice. She has absolutely earned this to finally win the Royal Rumble with how strong she's been booked. So no complaints there. Would have absolutely loved to seen Bianca Belair in this Rumble, but realistically she just got surgery on her finger going back to I think late November, early December, and I just knew that, man, there's no way it's going to be healed enough in time for by January and everything. We might not even see her at WrestleMania. We might not get her until sometime in the spring, but yeah, that would have been awesome to see. But yeah, shout out, these women did their thing. This women's Royal Rumble absolutely, I think, was much better than the men's Rumble this year. This probably once again won't go down as the best women's Royal Rumble ever, not the worst and everything. I mean, I think last year had some bigger moments. Shout out to the man 001, him along with our boy SMP. All three of us were there last year for Royal Rumble 2025. I remember us going crazy when Alexa Bliss came out and everything and stuff, and things like that. So yeah, there were definitely some big moments here. But yeah, absolutely. I think obviously this women's Royal Rumble absolutely has earned to be on the second spot. Gonna probably add this in here when I make the video and separate them for daily videos to release. But I want to say, when it comes to this third men's Royal Rumble, there's one thing that I forgot, and that was Jey freaking Uso. I like Jey Uso, but man, we have got to stop this whole running it back in the middle of a match, especially one as important as the Rumble. There's no reason for Jey Uso to lay out everybody and turn his back when anybody could have come up from behind him and pushed him off. And when you think of it from a psychology standpoint within the confines of the storytelling that WWE was trying to tell, Jey Uso up here, you know, doing the yeeting and everything and running back and walking over, like, come on, man, what the heck, and stuff like that. And then you get to where Roman Reigns comes out and finally, you know, smacks the taste out of his mouth and everything, like, you know, because Roman's like, let's run it back, and Jey Uso's like, yep, we gonna run it back, and boom, smacked them. I'm like, man. And eventually Jey Uso gets eliminated, and I'm like, man, they gotta stop stuff like that, because the people that don't like Jey Uso, they complain a lot about him on the internet, doing stuff like that ain't gonna help favors. And then when it comes to people like me who do like Jey Uso, man, you know, I want to see Jey Uso like he was last year in that Rumble. He came out all business and left the yeeting for after he won. If WWE really wants to get that big whole yeeting moment thing and run it back, that's fine. Do it during the entrances or do it after Jey has won. There's just no place for it in the middle of a match. When that match starts, the main objective should be to win, just from a storyline standpoint. I don't think you have to be that much of a fan to understand how the inner workings are in WWE. I think you watch any sort of form of fictional storytelling, whether it's live action or animated, when you watch that, if there's a fight and there's something high at stakes, there is no time for goofing around, especially when you're the baby face. It's one thing for the heel to get cocky, but for the baby face, come on, we should be seeing more. So yeah, I was not a fan of that whole Jey Uso running it back in the middle of the Rumble, man. Just like I wasn't a fan of him running it back in the middle of War Games. So yeah, I'll go ahead and slice this in here on the daily video there. That being said, let's get to the chat before we get to our number one. All right, let's see what we got going on. Tin Sensati says, who knew the best women's rumble would have been in Riyadh? Oh, that's some high praise there. So you think it was the best women's Royal Rumble. And that's why I like doing this content, because we all are different. We all are going to have our different opinions and everything. And I like hearing other wrestling fans and have their different opinions and stuff. Yeah, I don't think it was a bad women's Royal Rumble match. So if it was your favorite, more power to you for sure. And stuff like that. Yeah, the women, they go all out. You know, like I said, the WWE, I don't think always gets the best behind promoting things the way they should be sometimes. But the women, they go out there and do their thing for sure when it comes to WWE. And things like that. Let's see, he says, or at least one of the best. Oh, okay, I missed that right there. You said one of the best and everything. Hey, if you thought it was the best or one of the best, more power to you. I'm glad you got that enjoyment out of the Royal Rumble and everything, and then stuff like that. The man 0001 says, Oba or Knight should have won. Yeah, I wouldn't have minded that at all. My thing about Oba Femi, I was like, are they gonna push him that quickly out of the gate? I was like, I'm not so sure about that. I wouldn't have minded if they wanted to strap a rocket ship to him, but hey, he might still get a very quick push this year like they did with Stephanie Vacar. So yeah, we might get ahead and see it. LA Knight, yeah, man, like I don't know if you were in the stream when I was mentioning it, but yeah, totally would have been up for LA Knight to win and stuff like that. But man, WWE, I just don't think they don't see pushing him in the main event as a priority, unfortunately. Man 0001 also says, I guess Brock Lesnar got yeeted. He did get, wasn't it like during Roman's entry? And that's another thing, man. They kind of did some nonchalant eliminations, like having Oba Femi get eliminated by Brock, and the commentators weren't mentioning much they weren't mentioning it much on commentary. And then like Jey Uso's like halfway down the arena, Brock Lesnar got eliminated out of nowhere by Cody Rhodes and LA Knight. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're gonna just be switching up here between an entrance and a big star like Brock Lesnar getting eliminated. That should be a big freaking deal. So yeah, that was some interesting choices they made during this Rumble. Tin Sansadi says, I especially like this women's Rumble considering the controversy surrounding WWE in Saudi Arabia and how much the fans think women's wrestling isn't appreciated. It says wrestling fans' assumptions on Saudi fans. Yeah, with that, yeah, there were definitely a lot of controversies. I guess the women, they have to pay for their own gear if they want to wrestle in Saudi Arabia, but that's pretty common practice. I think most wrestlers have to pay for their own gear, but they certainly got creative and everything. I'll say this about the controversy and everything. I'm glad that it's better than what it was in 2018. In 2018, they weren't even allowing women to wrestle on the show. Then they went and had women actually being on the show, to now we got like 30 women coming out and everything. And of course, they can only show their face and hands, to respect the laws out there in Saudi Arabia. It's their country's rules and stuff like that. But I think the more important thing, and what I always try to look at with these Saudi Arabia shows, is how much joy the Saudi Arabian Riyadh audience had when looking at the show, how much it means to those women, those little girls growing up, and even little boys growing up in Saudi Arabia, to see women being on the posters and being treated and being promoted as big time superstars, and being shown that yeah, you can get there and do that and everything. So I do like the advancement that WWE has been able to make as far as doing that in the country and everything, and it always brings a smile to my face to see the fans having smiles on their face and enjoying the WWE programming and seeing the women being featured as main attractions there. So I will say I think that's the best thing to really look at with WWE doing the whole Saudi Arabia deal and stuff like that. Man 0001 says Brock Lesnar got eliminated during Jay's entrance. Yeah, I was just mentioning, like, what was up with that? Like, literally, we see Jey Uso coming out and like, oh, Brock Lesnar's thrown out, and there's Jay eating him. Like, what? Whoa, like, what would the Uso say? Whoa, like. That's a big freaking deal if Brock Lesnar gets eliminated. Like, what are we doing here and stuff like that? Oh man, it's like when they had Brock Lesnar eliminate Ilya Dragunov with all those multiple chops to the chest, and Brock just like, "Argh!" And then he just chucks him right out. And I'm like, oh, I would love to see Ilya Dragunov get more than that and stuff and everything, because he's like, say, that guy's an amazing seller and wrestler and everything. Like, even if, you know, I would have loved to see where Brock maybe sells it and goes like, oh, I'm like, and then he throws him out, man. Yeah. The man 0001 says, oh, no, that was Tin Sasadi says, 100%, those little girls and boys are gonna be innovators for a better tomorrow and better relationships worldwide, smiley face. Yeah, certainly, I definitely think the future for those, for those boys and girls that grow up, man, definitely, and to see WWE play a small probably, but, you know, there's obviously, every country has its own issues and stuff like that, but see WWE play a small role in that, and it just brings you to the much more important thing about what pro wrestling does. For these women to get there and be able to do that in a country that would have not approved that even less than a decade ago, just basically shows a good thing that what the WWE superstars have contributed. And that's one of the reasons why I still watch WWE to all this time and stuff, because I know these men and women, they put a lot of hard work into their craft, and they work hard for our entertainment and everything. And when they can make a difference in this world, even if it's a small positive one, always good stuff. Tin Sasari says Jay took long getting to the ring. He sure did. He saw Brock got eliminated, and the way they were shooting it, almost like Brock Lesnar was going to come out there, man. And yeah, the Metro says 01 says the point was yeet, right? Okay. Tin Sasari says then, now, forever, for real. Yeah, for sure. All right, keeping track of the time here. Monday Night Raw coming on less than 30 minutes. We get to our number one spot. Thank you all for being engaging in the chat. Really appreciate that. All right, our number one match, the Ring General. Oh, let me see. Better put the voice on it. Number one, the Ring General, Gunther versus the phenomenal AJ Styles. How fitting is it that on his final night as a WWE performer, the phenomenal AJ Styles does what he has done his entire career, and that's be phenomenal and have a phenomenal match that phenomenally makes it to the number one spot on this list. I think, honestly, this is the standout match. This was the number one match of Royal Rumble 2026. AJ Styles and Gunther, they had a pretty good match on Monday Night Raw, and this easily topped it because they really upped the stakes with this one. Going into this match, I didn't think AJ Styles was probably going to retire. I'm thinking, okay, they're using this as a good ploy to get people, and a good plot device to get people emotionally invested, because everybody knows AJ Styles said this is his last year wrestling in pro wrestling. So we're thinking, okay, how they're gonna get out of this one? Do they want to have Gunther get beat with all this momentum he got from retiring Goldberg and John Cena? Is it how AJ Styles gonna get through it? So I was like, man, okay, how are we gonna do this? I'm going into this match thinking, okay, AJ Styles, when the referee ain't looking, he probably gonna give Gunther a taste of his own medicine, give him a low blow, roll him up 1, 2, 3, and it'll probably lead to a trilogy. And that's how they protect Gunther, and AJ Styles continues to go in WWE, because I'm like, there's a lot of big money matches still left to have with AJ Styles, like they did CM Punk versus AJ Styles on the Monday Night Raw before, but now it's clear that they only did it so they can just say that they have done it in WWE. Yeah, so overall the match had all the drama you would expect. Gunther really milking the crap out of that sleeper hold, which is just a great audience reaction now, because fans are always like, they're gasping and everything and stuff like that. All the hope spots in this, AJ Styles looked great when he would come back with the Pele kick, the phenomenal forearm over the top rope, coming and doing the 450 splash off the top rope. All the AJ Styles stuff looked good here, and you're just thinking like, man, AJ Styles, yeah, he's almost 50 years old. He's getting closer to 50, right? But boy, he can still absolutely go. And I've been following AJ Styles' career, albeit casually, but been following his career nonetheless since his TNA days back in 2025. I probably will definitely have the man 0001 on here with me when it comes to doing a retrospective, because I know The man has hardcore followed his entire career and stuff, so he can help be able to fill in the blanks there and stuff. Not doing a retrospective right now because we need to see if this is it for him in WWE or if this is it for him in just pro wrestling in general. But in terms of him going against the ring general here, like Tin Sansadi says, Gunther is so gosh darn good. Absolutely he is. AJ Styles is good. You get these guys in the ring, you knew magic was going to happen, and they did. These guys knew how to work the drama in this match, and that's what I loved. And I love the psychology, the desperation of AJ doing what he can to overcome Gunther being like this just dominating Terminator that won't stop. This match was great. It really did, and this was a clean match, clean finish for Gunther and stuff like that. I can't say enough good things about this match, and I think this Royal Rumble will probably be most remembered for this match. Historically, how could it not be? It's AJ Styles' final match, and the ending with the sleeper, they were milking it, and I was like, man, are they gonna do it? Like, wow. Hey, shout out my boy SMP, thanks for joining the chat. Man, good stuff. Like he says here, AJ came a long way. Shoot, I remember when he did the turkey gimmick on TNA, LOL. Oh my god. Yeah, them were kind of the dark times when we were wondering what the heck are they doing with AJ Styles and TNA. I remember that. So yeah, SMP and I, we've been around for this AJ Styles career. Like I said, I remember SMP was right next to me when we were watching with our friends in 2016 when he debuted at the Royal Rumble, and I remember SMP jumping up like we all were jumping up, going for joy. And going here, looking at what we had at the end of this match, the one thing that I did complain about this match and stuff like this is WWE, and it's reliant on its inconsistency of the arm drop. So and the man 0001, he was on there. Check out we did a whole review of Saturday Night's Main Event and the retrospective of John Cena's career, and I mentioned that WWE needs to pick a lane with this because it ruins the reaction that you would get from the audience. Going back to that match with Gunther and John Cena, when John Cena's arm is raised and it drops the first time, you hear an audible gasp from the entire audience. They're like, and I was like, oh snap, he did it. I'm like, it's over. And referee's like, that's one. And he starts picking up two. And I was like, joy at first. I'm like, oh snap, they're finally going back to the 3 arm drops and stuff, because that's how they condition the audience. And it drops number 2, and then it drops a third time, and Cena's halfway, and he stops. He's like, no, I'm not out yet. And I used to love that so much as a kid with Stone Cold Steve Austin, because it was a great way to just really play to the audience, a great way to really mess with their emotions and stuff. Like, oh snap, is this gonna be it? And when that third arm drops, and Austin would stick up his middle finger, and I think even back in the 80s, for those that were watching wrestling before my time, Hogan would do the whole thing with the finger and stuff. It was just always a great thing, and I know it was big for Dusty Rhodes and everything doing that. I really wish they just stick with the 3 arm drops for the drama of what happens when that third arm is about to drop. Like Tin Sasari says in the chat, 3 arm drops are so much better. I agree. And so you get to this point where during the Royal Rumble, when AJ Styles arm drops, I'm like, okay, he's good. We still got 2 more to go. And the referee rings the doorbell. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, that's it? That's it? I'm like, just like that? I'm like, why are we doing 3 arm drops for Cena, but then 1 arm drop for AJ Styles with no explanation? And the fact they don't explain stuff like that kind of like grinds my gears as a wrestling fan. Like, I don't really get upset about too much stuff nowadays. Ever since the Fiend Bray Wyatt lost to what's his name, to Goldberg in Saudi Arabia back in 2020, I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna get that emotional about this stuff anymore. Obviously with Triple H, I think he's hasn't made nearly as many head scratching booking decisions as Vince McMahon did in his later years of booking. So I'm like, okay, but here, yeah, I'm like, you mess with the emotion. See, if the first arm drop, I would have been like, oh snap. I'm like, is done. Instead, I'm wondering, like, wait a minute, then why are we doing 3 here and then 1 here? Like, you just muck about the emotions that we're supposed to be feeling here. So yeah, but nonetheless, AJ Styles ends up losing, and Gunther walks away, and he has the victory. Now he can brag about taking out Goldberg and Cena and AJ Styles. Really, you could say Goldberg and Cena already made up their mind. It was going to be their last match, whether they won or lost. AJ Styles was still trying within the confines of the story to continue, but he didn't. So you can really make an argument that he retired AJ Styles, at least from WWE. The emotional send-off for AJ Styles. So here's the thing about this. The audience reaction was great. The audience giving AJ Styles the respect. AJ Styles looking at it in the crowd, looking emotional. Him taking his gloves off and then putting his gloves on, and doing his last signature pose and stuff, and then walking out. Was good emotional stuff, but it just didn't hit right. Like, man, AJ Styles, for the caliber of what he's done, like the man 001 says in chat, I still remember AJ Styles in WCW. I was hoping he joined WWF, but everything happens for a reason, and I'm happy for what we got. And he also says arm drops are referees' discretion and stuff. Oh, so is there more to that then? Arm discretion, is that why they've changed it from the 3 to 1? Is that what's going on there? Well, thank you for that explanation, man 001, because I never knew that and everything. So it's good to have some clarification on there, and I know you know your stuff. That's why I'll have you on there. You're the longtime wrestling fan that's the historian here. But that being said, even with your explanation there, I still think the drama you get from 3 arm drops is so much better than you get for 1. That being said, though, but see, I appreciate the Metro 01 going out of his way to try and explain this stuff, because I feel that WWE hasn't done it for sure. But going back to what he said, AJ Styles, he's been following his career since WCW, and yeah, I think that's like some of his early start right there, WCW. So yeah, he was right there at the end of the of the Monday Night Wars and stuff. So AJ Styles been around for a minute, but with someone of AJ Styles caliber who's done it all, WCW, ROH, WWE, TNA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, man, he's been and done it all as a professional wrestler, not just a WWE superstar. You would love to see him go out with more, was it pomp and circumstances or whatever, if I said that right. You want to see a more grandiose way for him going out, and this felt more like how Edge went out in WWE, where they weren't sure. It could be it, and it could be the end of him, it could not be the end of him, and he ended up leaving. And Edge has such a lustrous WWE career. And as I've mentioned in my review, I've heard that AJ Styles might be calling it quits in WWE, but not calling it quits in professional wrestling yet. So we could very well see him decide to end his career in TNA, or he might go and do some last big matches he can have in AEW. So we'll have to see where AJ Styles ends up after WWE. But hey, I think a great WWE career. He didn't spend as much time in the main event scene as I would have loved to have seen him with the world title. Would have loved to have seen him get some more world title wins and stuff like that than what he had early in his career. But he put on a lot of phenomenal matches in WWE, and I know his WrestleMania matches were kind of up and down there. Like I said, me and Man Trooper 01 probably saw his best one right there. Best one there, and like we saw his best one, I think, at WrestleMania 33. WrestleMania 33 when he wrestled Shane McMahon and stuff. That was a phenomenal match. Man Trooper 01 in the chat says, it's like in combat sports, why some fighters get 3 drops or others get 1 drop depending on how bad the beating they got throughout the matches. Thank you for further explanation of that, Man Trooper 01. Really do appreciate it, and that does make sense. I think you did tell me, maybe now that I'm thinking about it, I think you did have a conversation with me once saying that it's kind of more realistic that WWE does the 1 arm drop thing like that now. I feel like I've heard you tell me that before. Now it's coming back to my memory. But yeah, as far as though this goes, yeah, I would have loved to seen AJ Styles get a lot more bigger circumstances, but I guess they're just not sure if AJ didn't want to renew his contract, and I guess he said February. It was been reported that February is when his contract was coming up, so there you go on that. And I just always thought that AJ was going to retire in WWE, because he had said in 2019 when he signed a new contract that that he was not going to leave WWE, and this is when AEW first got started. So he turned down a lot of money, obviously, I'm pretty sure, from Tony Khan to stick with WWE, but things change and stuff. We'll see where the phenomenal AJ Styles ended up. It very much could be like Edge and Bryan Danielson. You know, them guys had great WWE careers, but they knew they were at the end of their career and they wanted to do something fresh and went to AEW. So we could be looking at that very thing with AJ Styles, but phenomenal WWE career, and if it is it for his overall WWE career, a phenomenal professional wrestling career. I'll put it this way: I think a very good to great WWE career, a phenomenal professional wrestling career, and everything. But yeah, I think AJ Styles more often than not absolutely nailed it with the matches, and you put all that together, I think it has certainly earned its spot as the #1 match of WWE Royal Rumble 2026, Gunther versus AJ Styles. So yeah, that was my overall thoughts in terms of the rankings and everything, and I have my review up if you all want to see a more in-depth response and everything as far as what I thought about the overall show. Let's get to the chat here before we wrap things up. All right, so nothing much going on in the chat other than what I've already read off, but I thank you all for joining in. Let's see, 169 of you tuned in for the live chat. I really appreciate that in terms of the vertical stream. About 18 of you in the horizontal chat and everything. Not going to go as long tonight because, like I said, I want to make sure I get ready for Monday Night Raw here and got some other stuff to work on with content concerning my other main channel and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, yeah, really good overall, solid Royal Rumble. I can't complain too much. Tin Sansadi says, who will Gunther retire next? Who does he retire? And I think he may have asked earlier what's next for the Ring General. Who he retires? There's been a lot of rumor he might retire Brock Lesnar this year, which is more the reason I'm hoping we get an Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar match before it's all said and done. So I could see that. They could be playing that role with Rey Mysterio, but Rey Mysterio looks like he's gonna hang on for a little bit longer, so we get some more time to enjoy Rey Mysterio. He's got all those stem cells that he's getting injected into his knees, and it's been making him be able to still wrestle at a high level, so that's awesome to see. So yeah, things like that I think are looking good as far as the Royal Rumble goes. That being said, guys, I will be back with certainly, as depending on if something big happens at Elimination Chamber like last year. I don't know if we're gonna get anything big like that, but yeah, if not, I'll definitely be back for my review and ranking of WrestleMania 42 matches. And that being said, also, if you guys are going to be playing or plan on pre-ordering WWE 2K26, I have an affiliate link to Amazon underneath right there in the comment section and everything. So if you plan on pre-ordering, you want to click on the link and pre-order it. Hey, it doesn't cost you anything extra and helps support the channel here as well. So yeah, if you do want to use my affiliate link there, definitely would much appreciate it and everything. Even if you don't buy the game and you just buy something else on Amazon, I believe it still counts as a credit for me, which basically, like I said, will go back in helping support the channel. That being said, guys, you can follow more of my WWE content right there on the screen, as well as make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you're notified when my WrestleMania content ends up dropping for this year, WrestleMania 42. And all affiliate links and social media links are in the description and pinned comment below. Until next time, guys, take care.